Hey, just what we need. A new evangelical trend. And you say, wait, are you suggesting evangelicals are trendy? No, I'm saying that definitively. We have science to back it up. Let's take a little trip down evangelical memory lane, shall we? Gentlemen, start your engine! The Prayer of Jabez, Bible Man, Experiencing God, Wild at Heart, WDJD bracelets, Purity rings, I Kiss Dating Goodbye, The Case for Christ, The Purpose-Driven Life, The Passion of the Christ, The The 5 Love Languages, Heavenly Tourism Books, Blue Like Jazz. I'm second, The Love Dare, God's Not Dead, The Circle Maker, Crazy Love, Soul Surfer, The Harbinger, Jesus Calling. I think we've established the fact. Evangelicals love fads, and it seems like we're seeing another fad that I wish weren't a fad. Not because I don't want this fad to be reality, but I fear this fad is mostly counterfeit. You say, what's the fad? Revivals. It started over a year ago with the Asbury Revival on a university campus, remember? Apparently spread to other campuses. Claims that hundreds of kids, thousands of kids getting saved. We want that, don't we? We genuinely want to see revival sweep the land like in the days of the first and second Great Awakenings, but I fear what we're seeing these days is more like a Charles Finney revival back to the middle of the 19th century. He was a heretic, but he was also a manipulator. Some of the stuff he preached as a touring evangelist was like, whoa, fiery good stuff. But he wasn't after conversion and regeneration. He was after moral transformation. What did he use to get people stirred up? Manipulation. He used enthusiasm. He created the anxious bench, which was the precursor to the modern day altar call. Come, if you're anxious, come on down, make a decision for Jesus, now start behaving better. Now his preaching, while fiery and some of it good, was not gospel centered. But I will say this, at least the revivals were based on preaching. The modern day revivals, you know what they're based on? Music. But they both have the same modus operandi. Enthuse people, manipulate people. Music is massive when it comes to these revivals that we're seeing kind of all over the place. University of Oklahoma, Lee University, Florida State University, Texas A&M. Look, we really do want kids to be saved. But if the kids are merely being enthused into making a decision, then we aren't really seeing revival. We're seeing Finneyism 2.0. Another big massive revival, it's called Gather 25, supposedly reaching 2.5 billion people to spark revival. Now, how are they going to ignite that spark? With 25 hours of worship music, not preaching, music. And all of these events, they resemble Finney revivals, not because they're preaching, but they're getting people into an emotional state. And through worship, and you maybe think, well, who cares as long as they get saved? Well, we should care because we want to do things biblically, and we do want kids to be saved. I truly do. But when music is center stage and preaching is just sort of an add-on, hey, we're going to get back to worship, but real quick, let me just tell you that. And we downplay preaching we should be concerned that we're going to see the same results as Charles Finney. What were his results? Well, after he finished touring around the country, reports returned to HQ. The people who made a profession of faith were actually acting worse since they've been saved, presumably. So some individuals decided, well, we got to go figure out what happened here. So the circuit riders were dispatched to investigate, and they discovered that the supposed converts were, as they called them, cold coal. They made a false profession of faith, and now their latter end is worse than the first, and their hearts are hard, and no matter what they tried to do to stir them and ignite them again, no success. Any circuit came to be known as the burned over district. Now we're starting to see revivals on university campuses and beach baptisms. There's another trend. They're in Tampa, Texas, California, what's being called a summer of baptisms, and truly, I really do hope people are getting saved, but if music is being used to emote people into the water, then we should be concerned. So there's a test and a challenge simultaneously to see if these are genuine revivals. Do revivals. If you're an organizer of a revival, I say go for it. But here's my challenge. Leave the instruments at home. In fact, try this. No singing whatsoever. Or if you're going to do some singing, treat it the way that typically these revivals treat preaching. Hey, we're going to get back to the preaching, but real quick, let's just sing this song. What would happen if music were removed from all of these revivals and preaching were the centerpiece? Because that's what we see in the Bible. Jonah didn't go to Nineveh with a band and a 3-hour set of music from Hillsong. The 12 disciples were not the 12 musicians, the backing band, the emotive band to get ready so that Jesus could walk out and, just do a little bit of preaching. In fact, Jesus commanded the disciples to preach. Jesus esteemed preaching as the preeminent task of the evangelist. All preached, and people got saved without a single synthesizer creating the mood. My contention, if today's revivals had zero music, I suspect they would have zero people attend and zero people getting baptized. In fact, I suspect that could be true of far too many contemporary churches. They're built on manipulative music. You pull the plug on the music, and we'll see if today's revivals are genuine or if they're just creating more cold coal. Discuss. Confusion, fear, and much pressure to abort one's child. Preborn Ministries walking alongside women, providing free ultrasounds, which means 80% of the time they choose life. Our goal at Wretched, 7,000 ultrasounds this year. May I ask, how many babies' lives could you save? Preborn.org/wretched.